Hello everyone, this is Leslie with ColourArte, another episode of Color Talk. What you're looking at right now is our Vivid Ultra Metallics in our 4 metal colors, and they're made out of a ground metal. This is not any kind of color we can give you in a dry form so you can mix your own paint. Many of the paint pouring artists first discovered us, and many artists discovered us, when they saw us mixing the vivid clear enamel with our dry pigments to mix our own paints. And we did that so it would be the most economical way for people to mix their own color. They could take our pigment powder, mix it with some of the clear, and make their own paint. But there are 4 colors in the Vivid. There's actually 56 colors in the Vivid line. Colors that you guys can use immediately. They're already a pre-mixed, wonderful, shimmery paint. Like I said, 56 colors. But because the paint pouring community had discovered the pigments, we kind of didn't really push the fact and let people know that we got colors. We got really beautiful, vibrant colors. But there are 4 colors that cannot be had as a dry substance for you to mix yourself. They're made out of ground metal, okay? So let's get some close-ups on here. And ground metal becomes instantly airborne as soon as you open the jar. So it's really not cool to sell as a dry substance and be sure that people are going to have the proper ventilation and mask. So we just don't sell this dry material, but this is the True Silver painted on deli paper. Deli paper is one of the best ways to test your colors, especially how they're going to shimmer. So this color is called True Silver. It was actually the color that launched the line. I had never really been able in 20-something years make a really good golf club handle silver, and this ground metallic really made the difference. Another one of the colors, I'm giving you close-ups of all of them. This is called Dragon Gold. It is a very antique gold color. Again, ground metal, very, very metallic. I could see this sandwiched between layers in resin pours, or maybe used on top of your pours. Today I'm going to be doing some background swipes using these metals in my swipes. This color is called Cashmere. It kind of looks like a platinum rose color. Similar to the silver, okay, but a little bit more pink. If you sit and look at the difference between the silver and the Cashmere. And this color is called Autumn Flame. It is the ground metal version of a copper. It is very coppery, but much different than the Dragon Gold if you look at both of them. And here's a pan out of all 4 colors. They're available in 2 sizes. This is the 4-ounce bottle, more economical. Yes, the Vivid metal series, the True Silver, the Dragon Gold, the Autumn Flame, and the Cashmere are a little bit more expensive than our regular Vivids. Ground metal is extremely expensive and much more expensive than the mica. So there's our introduction of the colors. I want you to actually see me paint one of these out so you know I didn't make this up. So this is a piece of the deli paper. I have some of my True Silver already in a cup. Now I just rinsed my brush off. So one thing you want to make sure that you do is squeeze every bit of water out of that brush before you begin painting, especially with the metals. You know, if you're going to be doing any kind of brush painting with them, because you don't want any water in there to thin that down. Okay, so let's just take some of this. Don't want to waste it. I can probably die cut some kind of shape off of this. But this is the True Silver, painted straight out of the bottle. And I gotta tell you, for someone like me who's been trying to make a really decent silver for 22 years, this just hits the ball out of the park. Now the Vivid Enamels dry, because it's an acrylic enamel base, they dry on glass, they dry on metal. They do very well on wood besides your other paper surfaces and of course canvases and cradle board. So there's a little intro on the Vivid. I'll be right back setting up. We're going to be doing some background swipes with these 4 colors. See you in a bit. So I'm back. We're working with the Vivid Ultra Metallic metal colors. They're actually made out of ground metal. I have some Dragon Gold, some True Silver, and some Autumn Flame poured into a cup. I'd say about 1.5 ounces. If you want to know how much an ounce is about 2 tablespoons, even though after a while you'll want to eyeball it because you're not going to want to keep putting it in a tablespoon and then cleaning the tablespoon out. I mean, measuring's hard enough as it is with everything else that we've got to do. I do not use Floetrol when thinning down my paint. And it's not necessarily just because of the enamel, it's mostly because of our colors. Floetrol has an additive in it that's a matting agent. It also has a surfactant, which is a chemical that makes stuff spread. And you can lose cells with too strong a surfactant. I just personally don't like how it mutes our colors. I'm old-fashioned. I'll use the Liquitex pouring medium when I run out of my GAC 800, but this stuff is amazing, and I'm just putting a dash in. If you want a measurement, maybe 1/2 teaspoon into each one. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need a lot. I'm going to actually just mix up one, mix the other 2 off camera, and we'll be back so we're not wasting your time watching us mix this up. The Vivid enamel base is thick anyway. I've had people ask me, is it supposed to be like mayonnaise? Yes, it's thicker. So we've got our dash of our medium in there, Liquitex pouring medium. That's a few drops of water I mixed in there. This is for the newbies. You guys can fast forward past this part if this is a process that you're comfortable with. But if not, you mix it. You really want to get down in there and give that water a chance to absorb into your acrylic base. All acrylic bases absorb water at different rates. So this may be the more boring part. I try to make it the zen part of my work because getting your mix right, any abstract artist will tell you, or pouring artist will tell you, or resin artist will tell you, your mix is probably the most important part. So now I've got it nice and fluid where it's running off in a nice stream off of my stick. It's not stopping and starting and hesitating, and it's not running off like water. It's nice and smooth. Let me mix up the other 2 colors. Be right back. So I've got my Liquitex pouring medium and my water in these. I think they're close enough to the consistency. There's 3 different silicones that I've used. One is the treadmill oil. Be careful of this because this actually feels more oily on the canvas than any of them, but it works really well for making cells. The spray silicone from WD-40, my beautiful can here. It says Specialist, and actually says silicone on the can. It is a yellow and silver can. However, be careful. A lot of people will decant this, spray this into a cup outside, then bring the material in because they don't want to smell the propellant, or breathe in the propellant, excuse me, not just smell it. Breathe in the propellant. And then another one is the pure dimethical. Sorry, my chair got stuck here. The other one is the pure dimethical cosmetic grade. I also got this off Amazon and it works very well. So you have some choices of your silicone that you're going to use. Since I have this dimethicone in my hand, that's going to be the one I'm going to use. I'm pulling some up into a pipette. It's a little bit thicker. It feels more like a lotion than dimethicone does. It's kind of interesting how the stuff works. Like I said, it's more syrupy, where the silicone treadmill oil feels more oily, and the spray definitely feels more oily. Actually, let me take that back. I actually find that the spray feels a little less oily, but that's just my experience. So we're gonna stir that up, just a couple stirs. Okay, so I've got my True Silver, my Dragon Gold, and my Autumn Flame. Now on bigger pieces, I do prefer, see my little marking, see my little bottle here. On my bigger pieces, I do prefer to work out of a squeeze bottle because I've been doing some 24 by 48 pieces. You do have to shake it up. We're gonna do a couple small ones and one slightly larger one, but you'll see what I'm talking about. You get these little squeeze bottles, make sure you get the real soft plastic if you can, the more pliable the better, at a restaurant supply. And I love these little bottles for doing the detail work. Okay, I have 3 5x7. Actually, it might be wrong. I think these are 8x10. These could be 8x10 canvases. And I have already base coated them with a little bit of white paint, not straight white paint out of the bottle, but a little white paint that I have actually thinned down. This is my cup that I use for my base coating. I thinned down with a little tiny bit of water and a tiny bit of the Liquitex pouring medium. It's not really meant for pouring, and yeah, you can get away with using the thin down version you use for your pours as long as there's no silicone in it, but because I'm going to be doing a scrub style swipe, basically I'm going to be pulling the color all the way down and it's going to hit and miss. I did not want bare canvas to be exposed on my pieces. So first color I'm going to use is the True Silver. And again, I'm going to use my popsicle stick for you guys here because you may not have squeeze bottles. So you can see how fairly simple it is. And my goal with this piece, I'm going to do a string painting over here. So I want the majority of my texture coming down and then missing, but then hitting again and missing and hitting. So we're going to literally pull the paint down all the way to the bottom till it looks like it's almost dry. It actually dries pretty quickly when you do this technique. You don't need much paint. Just kind of move this True Silver along here. Yes, I'm doing smaller canvases on camera with you guys just for the purpose of showing how that's actually a lot of paint, showing how this works. I'm hoping I haven't put too much on. Because I want them to be at uneven, I don't want just this clean, perfect line. Okay, now in this bottle, I've got my Artist Loft White thinned down with Liquitex pouring medium and just a little bit of water. And I'm going to put that on there. But again, I don't need as much paint. I'm not doing a swipe where I'm trying to wet this whole piece. I just need a little bit to come across. So I'm actually going to move this white down. I don't want too much juiciness on this canvas, sorry. Move this white down. Just picking it up and moving the white down. Need a little bit more down here. And then I'm going to run a little white down the edge and a little white down this edge. Okay. Real simple. And for those of you that have been afraid of not being able to swipe correctly, this is actually good practice. You could do this on Yupo paper. You can do it on a heavy cardstock if you want to practice this a little bit and you're not using too much paint. This inset drop set knife I had to graduate to. I started with acetate. because I was afraid I would push down too much. This is actually clear acetate that is completely stained with black and paint from doing all my swipes with this. And then finally I graduated to this knife. This inset allows you to just come right up on the top of the paint and push it over without actually pushing it down too far. So just feel like you're kissing the paint and pull that over, okay? Now I'm going to take my smaller palette knife, and I really recommend you guys invest in these. These are, I think this was 10 bucks. You can get a set of the smaller ones in different shapes. I'm actually looking for my favorite round one. Here it is. Okay, I love this one for some reason. It lets me get into so many places. So I'm just going to make sure that I'm got this all the way down at the bottom. I'm not missing anything. And look at this fabulous close-up. Look at these beautiful cells that you're getting. Actually, the cells are kind of getting lost in this close-up. There's the metallic, how metallic it is. I can see some cells forming here. I can see some cells starting to form over here. But we're just going to let this dry because this is the background texture for a piece I'm going to do, and I'm going to paint something in here. Okay, kind of sitting here, kind of left, my right, your left corner. Okay, so let's try another color. I'm sure a few of you are saying, why not use black? So we all love black and other colors. I happen to have some Artist Loft black thinned down with a little bit of pouring medium in water. And I think I'll do the black with this Dragon Gold. Now the only thing is with black is we're limited on what we can do with the black afterwards. One thing I'm going to show you in probably part 2 or part 3 is after this white part has dried and I've gone in and I've done my piece, I can then go in with my Silks Acrylic Glaze, and these are my little half-ounce sampler bottles. They're our colors put in glazing medium, which are very, very transparent. And when you go over the top of the white where it's dry, you can then tint all the white areas to kind of match your focal piece that you're going to paint in here. So it's just another option. When you're paint pouring, just because the pour is done doesn't mean the art is over. You decide when the piece is over. Yeah, these colors or silks are absolutely stunning. I think, what color is this? I think this is Passion. Okay. So just a little promo on the silks because I'll be showing you guys in another video where I'm finishing off the piece. But let's do this one with the Dragon Gold and Black as promised. So again, I'm gonna, oops, I got a little dribble, I don't care. I think last time I had a little bit too much paint because this is a tiny canvas and I have a tendency to get heavy-handed. See if I can't spread this in a more creative manner. I don't know, I love gold. Silver always evaded me to be able to make it, and that wasn't why I didn't make it. I just could never find the right material to make a silver until the material for the true silver came in, and then it was I could actually make golf club handle silver. Yay! Okay, so sorry for that segue. We're going to put a little bit of black, and I'm going to move that black down. It might even be enough for the whole top of the canvas, so I keep forgetting I'm not working on 24 by 36. I think there's some white paint on this knife. Let's be careful, Les. Looks like there is. Okay, so let's just move this black down as far as we can move it. Just kind of, if you swipe the back, it's going to put the paint on the back, and then you can kind of redistribute it. Think of that metal end as being an extension of your hand or your fingers, and there's all these different shapes in these palette knives that they give you. So you can get a little bit black down each edge, so it looks a little bit uniform. Again, we're limited because the silks cannot do much on top of this black, but we all know how dramatic black and gold can be. So for the sake of the video, I figured there had to be a few of you out there asking me, what about black and gold? And we've got some nice cells happening here. You see that? Looks like I missed this area right here. There's some cells happening here, but the black didn't. Okay, so this is the question. What do you use? Looks like the black didn't go over this one little part here very well, so I'm going to take my round palette knife and kind of take a risk there. That's okay. We'll touch it up afterwards. Let's see what I want to touch it up with. Do I want to touch it up with a little bit of black? Oh, I'm loving what's happening with these cells right here. Oh, that dragon golden black is really pretty. I'm just going to put a tiny bit in here to kind of touch this up. You probably can't see it because we're off camera, but it kind of missed a little bit. I want to kind of, because while it's drying, we want to have a chance to bring that in. Touch it up while it's still wet. There we go, that's much better. Now there's that little white spot, see that? I'm filling it in. Got some cells happening here, some cells happening on the bottom. This will be a really interesting piece, some areas painted in. And of course now you can see why I base coated the canvas white. I wanted to make sure when I kind of did this scrubby motion, was it going to miss the canvas? I'm not caring, I don't really like what's happening here. I'm going to see if I can't just draw a little more black down into it. That way it dries a little bit more uniform. It's hard, you don't know, and it's not going to be wet enough to really tilt. It's not like I'm going to be able to tilt it. Another way to touch something up would be to take a tiny bit of the dragon gold on the tip of my bamboo skewer. This is, of course, if you really want to fart around with this. You only have one chance when it's wet. So you might as well take the time to draw that gold up in here. There we go. And I think I kind of like that, so I'm gonna draw pretty brave. Draw some gold up into here where this cell came out, just so it looks a little bit more balanced. Black here, the edge of this, see that little bit of white right there? I'm going to touch that up. What would I be doing with my piece if I was going to do a big piece? I'd be going in and taking a look at my background texture and say, okay, can I live with this the way it dries? And I can. I like that. I think it's interesting. I even kind of like what's happening here. It is a little bit wet. It's kind of going counterintuitive of my idea of having it scrubbed all the way down that I'm liking this pattern here, and I think I can do something with it. So I'm going to let this one be. Give me a second to wipe off my tools. So then we're going to go back to white and the Autumn Flame. Okay, so now we got our 8x10 canvas, and this color is the Autumn Flame. It is a really gorgeous, warm, juicy copper color. I mean, that is just an incredible color. I absolutely love this Autumn Flame. So same thing. Repetition kind of helps if you see it over and over again. Add some of this Autumn Flame, make it more random, not just a line. Again, with the squeeze bottle, it's a little bit easier, but not everybody's got a squeeze bottle. So I'm going to show you guys what can be done with a popsicle stick. Let that one draw down a little bit more. Okay. We got our white, Artist Loft white, thinned down with the Liquitex pouring medium, a little bit of water to the right consistency, no silicone. And that's the #1 rule. There should never be silicone in the color that you're swiping over. Or if you're going to go back, make sure that one color has silicone, one color does not, but usually your opaque, flat color, not your shiny color, should be the swipe color that goes over top of a metallic or a shimmery color. So let's add some of this white. Got my little knife to spread out that white. I don't know, I just love this little paddle shape. And then I like the edges that I can get on this one. Even though this is wet, gotta be careful, that has black paint on it. But, the different shapes of your palette knives are really, really handy. And more handy than you can know. But you think of them as an extension of your hands. A little bit of white down each end. Well, let's see how many cells we get popping through this white. That's kind of interesting. We got a lot of white happening in there, and I thought I had just the right amount of white in there. This time I'm actually going to grab my torch, and it's very loud. It's the big one, so bear with me for just a few seconds. So that's a little bit subtler than I planned on. I'm liking the cells that I'm getting in there. I'm not so sure about if I'm going to get enough cells coming across this white. And this is the thing. This is where having your silk acrylic glaze comes in handy. Because when this is all done, said and done, and dry, depending upon what my little focal piece of art is, even if I want to go all abstract on this, these silks, this color is Guatemalan green, beautiful, put over the top. And when you're using glazy medium, it is transparent. That means it will look very transparent, turquoise. You could go over with a different blue or a different violet, and you'll see color through color through color because of how transparent they are. So I'm okay with this white space in here because I know that I can go touch it up afterwards. Okay, so we're going to cut this here right now. I'll be back with a slightly larger 10 by 12 that I have already swiped the background on. I'm going to have to let it completely dry so I can show you the detail string painting technique that I'm going to do with the Vivid Ultrametallics. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you've enjoyed this part 1 of Color Talk today. My name is Leslie Ohnstad, President of ColourArte, signing off, and I appreciate your time. Bye.